Look at that, first rain in California this year. Boom, look at that. Cerakote still holding up nicely. Still repelling that water, looking great. Looking just like new. Still very impressed with the product. If you guys haven't seen it already, I did do a video on a Cerakote application not too long ago, so go on ahead and check it out if you want. Anyways, in other news, what is going on, guys? Today the Subaru gets an upgrade, and it might not be what you're thinking. So let me show you. I'm pretty excited about it, as I am for everything new that I get for the Subaru. Yeah, it's right here in this box. I'm looking at it. Man, this thing's awesome. You guys have got to see it. You guys are gonna just awesome. Love it. The Subaru is going to get a modernized stereo system. That is right. A whopping 320 watts, Bluetooth, in-dash doubled-in, MP3 compatible digital media AM/FM receiver. It's just some interior modification, a little upgrade, you know, kind of exciting. I am rolling with the stock 6 CD changer in this thing. This is the original 14-year-old stereo, AM/FM CD drive. This is what you got back in 2006, so things have definitely changed, I would say. Boom, I wrapped everything in carbon fiber at some point before I wrap my whole car, just for a little practice. And yeah, I think it looks pretty cool, minus the little bubbles and little, you know, mishaps here and there. But that was me learning. Anyways, yep, it's gonna look pretty cool. Hopefully it fits in this little double-din area. And yeah, we're gonna go step by step and figure this out together. Well, not really. I'm gonna figure it out, and hopefully you guys will learn from my mistakes as usual. So let's go on ahead and continue. So this is gonna be an honest unboxing. I haven't even taken a peek at this thing yet. So here we go. We don't need knives. We don't use knives. I don't need a knife. I got my fingernail. No, I don't really have any nail. Persevere through and open. Open. Open sesame. Open sesame. Open sesame. There we go. Boom. We are open. We are in. Boom. What? That's how it works. That's how Bluetooth works. I forget. Or is it the speaker for the Bluetooth? Little bracket. Not quite sure what I'm getting myself into here, but I am getting a little excited. Got the Bose Audio Systems Elite. Not bad looking. There we go. What else did I purchase? I did a little bit of optional purchasing here. I got some weird looking connectors. Not quite sure how those work yet, so you don't have to solder anything. And then I also opted for just a wiring harness to make my life easier. I'm sure. I'm hoping. I'm definitely hoping. But either way, it's just color coordinated. Shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Boom, boom, boom. Popcorn, stereo wiring. Yeah, pretty basic stuff here. Well, upon further review, this really isn't what I wanted. I really just impulse bought this on the toilet one morning, to be honest, to be dead serious with you. I didn't really read into, you know, all the features and stuff. It doesn't have any dials, there's no USB input, there's no auxiliary input directly on the screen, which is what I was looking for. Instead, they had these little weird pigtail connector for the CarPlay stuff, so it's just not what I wanted. So I'm going to actually return this and get the model that I want and do some more research on exactly what I'm looking for. And I guess I will have to get back to you guys, so I will see you guys in the future. Couple weeks later, here we are. We have the exchanged unit. We exchanged for the Sony AX1000, and it's something more along the lines that I was looking for, and hopefully it doesn't disappoint. Let's open it up, check it out. Okay, well, I may or may not have already peeked in here just to make sure this is what I wanted, because this, again, you know, arrived weeks ago or whatever, and now I'm getting around to opening it. Got it swapped out, no problem, no issues. Crutchfield is an awesome company. They really do take care of their customers, very professional, so on and so forth. Little user guide, manual, got our Bluetooth speaker wire, and we have the unit itself. This one actually comes with a remote, which is cool. Not sure if I'll ever use it, but I do have the option. I just broke it probably. I also purchased some of these on the first time around. These are just a little easier wiring harness connectors, just in case, you know, if I don't feel like soldering or whatnot. I may or may not use these, but I got them just in case. And I also purchased this optional wiring harness. Should be a plug and play connector for my car, but we'll go through that and figure that out for ourselves. And here's the nice sleek new unit. And yeah, we gotta be careful with this thing. Here's some more wiring harness stuff going on here, so we'll figure out what all these wires do. This should, you know, vamp up the interior a little more, make it a little more modern. And yeah, this has Apple CarPlay, Android CarPlay, whatever they call it. It is compatible with both operating systems, so that's kind of nice. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to check out this model, yeah, or anything else from Crutchfield. They have a bunch of options for anything, any car, you know, just put in your year, make, and model, and they'll find a unit for you. Pretty cool. All right, Merry Christmas to me. A couple features that I liked on this is it has a dial, which is nice for turning up the volume and radio stations and whatnot. It also has a USB little port there, and it also has an auxiliary port. So, you know, pick whatever one you're gonna need, but it's nice to have both of those options. And yeah, that's what sold me on that, baby. Well, I guess it's time to rip out the old system and see how the new one fits in there and just see what we're up against. So wish me luck. Yeah, we're gonna need, what are we gonna need? I haven't done this in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure my car, 06 WRX, as you guys know. Let's just pull that out. This just kind of pulls up. I don't know. I guess it's like the same thing from factory, but it just seems like it's kind of janky. Nothing even holds this thing in. It's kind of comes out. Unclip your little cigarette lighter there. You're also gonna need to unscrew your shifter knob. Oh man, that's a tight knob there. Got a tight knob. Got that nice, awesome anodized blue cob shift knob. Compliments to my wife. I think it was one of the first gifts she's ever bought for me, for my car. Very pretty, very overpriced, but very pretty. I also have the upgraded LEDs on the interior. I did a video on that like years and years ago. So let's just disconnect our cigarette lighter right here. Just a pretty straightforward clip. Clip just literally just pulls right out. I've got 2 prongs, and then we have the backlit little green light here, and you're gonna wanna rotate that in a counterclockwise position from this position. From looking at it, it's gonna be counterclockwise, and then it just comes off and releases. And voila, we have the center piece out, just like that. And we're moving right along, making great progress. Anyways, yep, so we're gonna be after these screws next. There's a couple Phillips heads. I think I'm actually missing some, huh? Go figure, what a surprise. So we're gonna get these 2 bottom ones out and keep on going here. Oh, look at that, that's kind of already loose there. So we're gonna be after that screw. Like I said, I've done this before, so I think I ended up screwing something up the first time around. So I'm gonna try to teach you guys what not to do. Oh, my baby's screaming, uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's never a good sign. Alright, so we got those 2 screws out at the bottom. Next we're gonna just kind of gently pry on the corner. Not really pry, but press up on the corner. So it just kind of just unclips from itself here. Oh god, just be careful. Again, one-handed, not really ideal, but it gets the job done. So once we got that popped off, we technically can start undoing the screws to get the stereo out. Here we go. We got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding in the stereo mount, I believe. I'm missing one at the bottom right there, and I'm missing one at the bottom left there. So, yeah, you know, you may or may not have more than me, but we're gonna wanna remove those screws. Get this old piece of crusty crap out of here. Okay, well, just like that, all of our screws are out, and let's start pulling this baby out a little bit. One-handed action as usual. So we're gonna take a peek behind here and see what's holding this thing in. That black cable, that's gonna be for our antenna. Not sure what that little jumper looking thing is, and then that's our main wiring harness. So let's get everything unplugged and pull this thing out. You can see right there, original OEM factory equipment, April 2005. This thing is OG for sure, and it's done me pretty good. It's a nice little 6 CD changer, but it's time for change. Alright, our stereo is pretty much free. I just have to disconnect this ground wire here. But yeah, it's pretty much a freaking huge wire mess going on back here. Oh no, 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 no. Here I go again, saying do as I say, not as I do. I forgot to get all my CDs out of the 6 CDs changer here. So, big fail on my part. I'm gonna need to just plug this baby back in and remove all the CDs. Probably should have your battery unhooked while doing this stuff too. But again, nothing I do is recommended, so just watch and enjoy, I guess. I'm just here for your entertainment, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, we're empty. Okay, moving on. So yeah, we got our stock stereo system here. We got our new upgraded one waiting here. I was just comparing everything on the back of the stock system to see if all the OEM factory harnesses will plug into this thing here, and there is one missing. There's a port for my my factory subwoofer, so we're gonna have to cut the connector that goes into here in the car. We're gonna have to splice that in somewhere on the main harness. I was almost gonna send this unit back knowing that there wasn't a port for my subwoofer, but I was researching online and found an awesome forum that tells me how to wire in, cut the connector and just wire it into the factory harness, so I'll be showing you guys that as well. Yeah, it's the next day, next morning. As you guys know, I can't finish anything in one day. I'll show you guys the harness inside the car where we're gonna have to modify to make it work with the new system, so let's check it out. Alright, so in the car, this is the harness that I'm talking about that we're gonna have to modify. So we got the purple and orange wire right here on this harness. This is to my factory subwoofer. We're gonna cut this connector off and wire it into the factory connector. Basically, we're gonna find the purple wire on this one and the orange wire on this one and just connect and splice in these 2 wires, and you should be good to go on that. We're gonna test and try it out. And we also have this piece here. This is your ground for the subwoofer. This bolts up to the factory stereo mount, so I'll show you that. Alright, so here we go. We're gonna start removing the factory mounts from the OEM stereo. Just a couple, got 4 Phillips head screws on each side. Hopefully everything works. These factory brackets are nice because they actually are universal and they have a bunch of different holes for different sizes and different options for mounting. So that's kind of nice. Thank you, Subaru. Thank you, thank you. So we're just gonna keep reference on what side's which. It might, oh, left hand. I think it tells you left hand, LH. So it is actually stamped right here. So left hand, which makes sense. And then we'll have a right hand one. Pop this one off. Okay, and this one should have, voila, what do you know, it has. This one is also stamped with right hand right on the top. So now your old OEM stereo can be put up on eBay and hopefully you get quite a bit of money for it. I don't know if I told you guys, but my stereo did come with 4 mounting screws. They specifically want you to use the ones that were included, so that's what I'll be doing. And one thing that I noticed on here, it says when mounting this unit to pre-installed brackets for your car, use the supplied screws, which I just showed you, and the appropriate screw holes based on your car, T for Toyota and N for Nissan. So we'll just figure out which one works with Subaru. I'll let you guys know. I guess a more even straightforward way to do it is to just line up the stereos vertically like this. Line up the factory mounting bracket on the OEM stereo and then just basically slide this down, try not to move it, and boom, 2 holes line up. Factory supplied hardware going in. Says you may damage if you do not use their hardware, so I would never not listen to them. Okay, first one in, flip it around, grab our other one. We're pretty confident how this one's gonna go based on the other one, the other side. I'm gonna do a test fit before we get everything wired up and hopefully we'll be good to go. Pretty straightforward so far. Alright, well things are coming together nicely here. We got our stereo just kind of roughly sat in there just to see the fitment and everything like that. So far it looks good. We can always readjust the brackets later. So let's work on our wiring harnesses now. And a bonus for having this aftermarket stereo system, weight reduction, baby. This stock unit weighs like 20 pounds, man. At least 10 pounds right here, and this thing's like a whopping maybe like a 2-pounder. So, you know, we got some savings there. So yeah, who would have known? This is a weight reduction little modification, you never knew. So for the wiring, it's gonna be pretty straightforward. We're just gonna match color for color on both harnesses. We'll have a couple colors left over, I'm sure. I'm gonna be using these little stereo radio wire harness nut things. I don't wanna deal with soldering and all that stuff, even though it's gonna be better in the long run. This is gonna be, you know, more than enough for me, so that's what I'm gonna be going with. So if you guys do end up going this route, like I'm doing, I will show you how these things work. It's pretty easy. I've never really seen this style connector before. Alright, I'll show you guys the first one. So I just found the green and black striped wire on one of the harnesses and the green and black striped wire on the other. And now I'm just gonna mate them together. All the wires on the radio harness are gonna have to be stripped. I got these nice strippers here from Klein Tools. I'll put a link in the description if you want. They're pretty pricey, but they do work very well. Of course, they have cheaper options as well. So 18 gauge slot, come on. Just making both strip sides, you know, somewhat the same length. Gonna give these a nice little twisty here. Twist them up. Grab our cool little connector. Slide this baby in. Make sure these are nice and twisted pretty good. Slide this in. Give it a good push in. And twist it on. Okay, 1 down, 20 to go. It's pretty straightforward. Match wire for wire, and if you're not sure or if the wires don't really match up, you can always double check in the book here and also on your optional wiring harness you purchased. And you can just, you know, cross-reference each wire, each color. Make sure all the wires are on the same page. Alright, so we finally got all the wires all wire nutted together. Everything's looking pretty good. We have a couple wires that we don't know where they go. Not really. This is the ground coming off of the main harness here. Black is the ground. This green long one is for the parking brake. And the only one we have left over on the other harness here is the ground, which is good. The purple and white wire here is the reverse signal, and we're not using that function, so I just capped it off so it's not gonna interfere with anything. And for this long green wire, I'm going to tap it into the ground here. That way it'll tell the car that I can do pretty much anything I want, rolling, parked, or whatever I need to do. Not recommended if you have a DVD unit and you're watching movies while you're driving, so I'm not responsible for anything that happens. Just gonna trim the ground to length here. Oop. Same thing with the green wire. Bada bing. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought I messed up. Anyways, all right, we got 2 ground wires here. We're gonna ground out our green wire with the ground as well, just like that. Black wire from one harness, black wire from the other, and the green wire from the new radio harness. Boom, all gonna be wire netted together. Strip it, strip it. These are a little thicker wire, so let's see if it's gonna work with my wire nut. 2 grounds and the green wire are gonna be combined all in one. All together now. Might be a little too fat for my little connector, but maybe we can make it work. Only one way to find out. I don't think it's going to work. All 3 wires did fit in my little wire nut here, which is awesome. Everything's tight. Cool. So that is going to conclude our wiring for this portion. So cool, we're looking good. Doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty clean. I'm just hoping these things are going to last and nothing's going to be falling off. Won't have any shorts or any fires, and things will be all right. Time to move on into the car and do some customization to the wiring harness inside. Just kind of lost my balance there. Okay, well before I go in and start messing with the amplifier connection and cutting wires and stuff, I basically just hooked up the wiring harness, just plugged it all in. Pretty straightforward, made sure my ground is also plugged in on the side. I'm gonna turn the key over and see if we get any life out of this new system. Boom. Oh, it's working! Alright, so far so good. It looks like we hooked up everything correctly. So let's get the rest of this stuff wired up and we'll see the finished product sooner than later. Okay, so you're going to want to proceed with caution. We're going to go on ahead and snip off this connector here. Purple and orange wires we're going to have to cut. We're going to be splicing it into this connector here. Got the main harness coming off of your radio harness going to here. So between this plug and this plug, we're going to be splicing into the orange and purple wire. I'm actually going to splice them together using this little connector here. These are pretty cool. I'll show you how these things work. You can get them on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want. But these things are really helpful. They come in 3s, 2s, 4s, 5s, however many wires you want to link together. You pretty much have it. So they're pretty awesome. Okay, just like that, we sacrificed our plug. No turning back now. So we got our purple and yellow wires hanging out here. We got a little bit of a lead to work with. I went and unplugged this piece here just so I can kind of move it around a little easier. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut the purple and orange on this connector. Okay, there we go. Like I said, no turning back now. We're gonna get this insulation stripped back and move on. Okay, we got all the insulation trimmed back on all of these wires. Everything's looking good. Now we just gotta connect them into our cool little fancy connectors. We're just gonna match up all 3 purples and all 3 oranges, and they're gonna have one big happy party. So here we go. For this little connector thing, you're gonna wanna start out with them vertical all the way up. That way it'll allow for the wires to insert into their little slots there. So we're gonna do one by one, each color, and then we're gonna snap it down, and that'll lock each wire into place. All 3 purple wires right here, as you can see, are all connected. It's a little bit of a tight stretch because the wires don't really have much slack, but it does work. So I'm gonna get these orange wires connected next. Okay, well it isn't pretty, but it gets the job done. So we got all those connected, everything's looking good. So I decided to use the Bluetooth function on this. I'm just gonna run the wire while I'm already in here. I'm gonna connect it. If I use it, I use it. If I don't, I don't. So it actually was pretty easy to run the wire. I just put a zip tie on the lead here that goes into the back of the stereo. I ran it through under the steering wheel. Started feeding it through, and then it ended up popping through the hole right over here. That's how I'm gonna run the wire. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna mount it up yet, but they leave you with plenty of lead. I thought it was gonna be harder to run the wire for some reason, but it actually was pretty easy, and that's why I decided to do it. Alright, well I decided to mount my little Bluetooth speaker right next to my keys, which probably is the worst idea ever because all you're gonna hear is the keys jingling while you're trying to talk to somebody on the phone. But you know, I'll keep you guys posted on how the sound quality sounds. Look at this freaking wire nest we got going on back here. Hopefully all these wires will tuck nicely back behind everything and we won't be seeing any of this mess. So only you guys will know about it. So don't tell nobody, okay? So all we have left to do is screw in our ground on our side here. It's the ground for the subwoofer. We got our ground for the radio here. Got the main harness installed. We got the antenna wire installed. We got the microphone wire installed. So last but not least is going to be the ground for our subwoofer. I'm going to ground out the subwoofer right here where I'm going to mount the screw and ground it to the actual bracket here. Just like that, we got it grounded right there. We're just going to start putting back our screws here, getting everything mounted up right, and then we're going to fire it up and see if it works. Alright, would you look at that? Fits in there perfectly, just as it should. Hey, what up guys? Let's power this baby on and see if all the functions work. Hopefully, cross your fingers. Here we go. Sony, powering up nice, okay. Ooh, I hear the bass. Hey, radio works. All right, well, good news. Everything is hooked up and working right. I thought for a second that I may have wired something wrong, but all I had to do was go to the factory subwoofer and adjust the gain and the high cut. At some point, I brought it all the way up to max, trying to get the best potential out of this thing. This new head unit actually is, you know, a lot more powerful, so both settings are at 0 now on my subwoofer. Before, it kind of sounded real blown out with the bass and just sounded like crap. So I just turned these dials down here with a Phillips head screwdriver all the way left. That's all I did, so we're looking good. I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick it up or not, but I'm gonna turn the dials back up and maybe you guys can hear the difference. So I'll have it down, sounding good right now. So I'm just gonna turn these dials up. See that? It just sounds horrible. That's the gain setting. So the gain setting is all the way up. Who knows, this subwoofer may even be blown after all these years. But I'm just gonna turn the high cut and the gain down. Okay, it's official, everything's working good. So let's go on ahead and put back our center console and get everything buttoned up. So I've had my little head unit installed for about a week now and I absolutely love it. It's nothing like a little modern touch to an older car. It's really easy to navigate, really user-friendly. I would highly recommend this little interface here for anybody looking for a little upgrade in their older cars. It's got awesome Apple CarPlay, Android CarPlay, whatever they call it. Then we got like our Spotify and our maps. Microphone and everything works well on Bluetooth. All in all, I'd give it a double thumbs up. It's really awesome to have. I enjoy every minute of it so far. So yeah guys, with that being said, that's gonna do it for this video on the install of my new head unit. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you guys learned something from it. Thanks for checking out the video guys. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. It helps out the channel. I appreciate it very much. So we'll see you on the next video. Bye.